Today we're going to get into part 2 of this series in which I talk about units in the game that are long overdue for an upgrade. Previously we discussed green units, and today we're going to talk about red units. There's a bunch of characters to pick from, but these units right here, man, if OPBR decided to really invest into these characters, the game itself would just be that much more interesting. I might have missed a unit or two, but I'm pretty confident that we can all agree on who I'm about to discuss today. Let's get started. I gotta start off this list with an undisputed banger. So first on the list is gonna be Savior God Usopp. Look man, there was such a long stretch of time where he was the runner to use in the game. Even personally speaking, he was someone I mained for a very long time. We all know how the game goes though, and with all the new mechanics and traits being introduced into the game, over time some of our favorite units just become outright unplayable. God Usopp is just too slow when it comes to his normals and skill moves, which is unfortunate because since we're all being terrorized by V1 Rogers right now, that skill one of his could be the ultimate neutralizer. Plus, let's not ignore the fact that in this meta, it's key to at least be able to capture flags without being downed or knocked back. Add that trait to my boy and speed up his attacks, I promise we'd be having a very different conversation about God Usopp right now. Continuing on with the concept of red runners, a character I believe is long overdue for an upgrade would be one of the 7 warlords of the sea, Don Quixote Do Flamingo. He's a much older unit, so he's cursed with the slowness that most older units have, especially being a pre-time skip character. It sucks because the attacks that he has are dope, and if it was updated, they could prove to be much more efficient. And to reiterate on an earlier point, as a runner in this current meta, I believe it's so important to at least have the ability to not be downed or knocked back when capturing. He already has a trait where his capture speed is increased like crazy, and treasure gauge is increased more than normal once he caps. You know, it's really funny too, because the character medal that he has is one of the more popular ones for runner to use, yet he as a runner himself isn't anywhere near one of the best runners. Hopefully soon that narrative changes, but that's only if he gets buffed in some way. Switching away from runners, let's talk about some red attackers. Respectfully, this is someone who's long overdue for a buff as well, and I'm talking about Luffy's brother Sabo. Now as is, Sabo ain't really all that bad. He packs a pretty heavy punch when using a decent metal set, and he stacks crits when one of your teammates gets KO'd, so that's pretty cool, right? Man, look, clearly there's a common theme with a lot of these units. Bro is slow when attacking. He virtually only has one skill, that being his skill 2, since his skill 1 just puts him into his flame state, which 1 can be removed by most meta characters, and 2 doesn't really grant him too crazy of a power up. Sure, an opponent can be aflame for 8 seconds when they attack you, on top of your damage being reduced by 50%, but so many characters right now are heavy hitters that it don't even matter. And some even have status infliction reduced as well, if not outright nullify it. As cool as it sounds, it just ain't enough. Plus all of it is really meaningless if he just can't hit anyone. At the very least, speed this man up. Maybe lengthen the time on a flame so that way he has a chance to actually benefit from the perks he gets while attacking, and then we can have a much more positive conversation about him. This next character is one that a lot of people say deserve a buff, and to be honest, I couldn't agree more. I'm talking about Dressrosa Zoro. Where'd I even start with bro for real? Just like everyone else on this list, he's virtually unplayable in this meta. Too damn slow. His skills got crazy range, but 1, they take too damn long to execute, and 2, they aren't invincible. You do good damage if they land, but that's if they land. More often than not, you're just food for whatever enemy is right next to you, which is unfortunate because with the recent showings of Raid Zoro and Egghead Zoro, clearly there's potential and precedence with having a Zoro unit that can carry their weight in the game. That's really my only grievance with him, considering the traits he has already are fairly decent. I mean, stacking crit every other trait is a bit OD. I'd much prefer his attack to be stacked, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. He already has fairly high base attack stats, so the crit on top of it could really be game changing. I'll say it again though, it all means nothing if he's too slow to hit anyone. So Bandai, please, take care of our boy, you feel me? Lastly on this list, I think it's only right we mention a red defender as well, and I have a specific one in mind. Let's talk about the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, Edward Newgate. Boy, oh boy. Now, y'all that have been tuned in for a minute now know that I have a level of disdain towards Whitebeard as a character already, but that's a topic for another time. I wouldn't wish this level of incapability on my worst enemy, dog. I think out of all the units we discussed today, this one is by far the most down bad. Like to the point where you can't even bring him into a match type of down bad for real. I'd give details on what we could do to buff him, like specific traits and whatnot, but let's keep it a bean. Everything needs to be fixed. His normals gotta get sped up. His skills, speed those up. Like, this unit basically is a punching bag for the enemy team. We have the light defender Whitebeard in the game now, so we see the potential. And yeah, this is technically an older and weaker version of that character, but we've all seen Marineford. Don't disrespect the elderly like this, man. Come on. Okay, so now this isn't what I normally like to do, but some of y'all think that this unit deserves to be on this list, so here goes an honorable mention, so to speak, right? The captain of the Eastern Revolutionary Forces, Bello Betty. In terms of being an actual defender, she fits the bill to a T. Both of her skills are moves that support the rest of your team, and her ability to defend the treasure isn't all that bad. Her normals are fine in terms of speed as well, but I will say there are a couple of things that, if implemented, would quickly shoot her up the ranks as one of, if not the best defender in the game. First off, in this meta, there are plenty of runners that can ignore enemies and capture the flag. We gotta compensate for that by giving her the ability to boost the treasure gauge to 150%. She already ignores the enemy and refills the treasure gauge, so this would just be a great bonus. Secondly, I'd consider it to be the most important as well, by the way, but the ability to nullify stun. Similar to Nolan, S-Snake, and others, she already has a trait that knocks back enemies on her third hit, which in most scenarios would get the job done, but there are some units that will stun you when you try to attack them while capping. She'd be unstoppable as a defender if she was granted this ability. Outside of those two specific things, I can't lie, y'all, she already got it for real. She really one of the best units in terms of being created solely to operate as a defender in matches. A lot of yapping went on, so y'all gotta let me know, do y'all agree or not? It'd be nice to see these guys get some love in the game and become playable, but maybe some of y'all don't think that they're worth the trouble. Or maybe there are units that I missed that are the ones that deserve to get the attention. Y'all gotta let me know in the comment section. That is gonna be it for me today though, so until next time, take care.